Bonjour, everybody. Welcome back. For those who just took a break, for those who are online, welcome to the show. We are in Paris, France, and it is, other than the weather, the weather's a little cloudy, but it has been beautiful. It's my first time to Paris, and it has been absolutely wonderful. It's our last stop on the European DAT show, so thanks for everyone who came out and everyone who's watching online. For those who don't know, my name is Matt Milstead. Me and my business partner, Dave Koss, we run a weekly podcast called the MoGraph Podcast, where we talk about all things having to do with MoGraph and business and doing taxes, and everything else that comes with that. So this is our weekly show that we're going to do. So if you fall asleep in the audience because you're bored and you want to catch up onto it in a couple weeks, it'll be on the podcast there. So let's go ahead and get this started. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another MoGraph MoCast. I'm Matt.
And I'm Jonathan Wimbush.
And this is DAT. I wanted to start off by thanking our sponsors for the DAT Tour, Dell Technologies, Render, Tool Farm, and NVIDIA. Big shout out to them for all the support that they've given to us on this tour. Now, we've got a whole panel of amazing artists here, I want to let the audience know that feel free to raise your hand, ask questions throughout. We'll keep this very open, very, informal, if you will. So feel free to just raise your hand if you've got any questions. But let's start off by introducing everyone. We'll start on this side with you, Guillaume, and we'll work our way down.
What should I say? I'm a freelance animator and illustrator, and I live in Paris. And I don't know. What do you want? What information do you want?
It's pretty good for now.
Okay.
The bank details.
Yeah. We'll dig a little deeper here in a minute.
The PIN code or the credit card.
Can I go?
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. I'm also a freelance artist based in Paris. And I'm a motion designer and a 3D illustrator. Oh, my name is Romain.
And I'm Guillaume Curdian.
Hello, my name is Lucas Ménard. I'm a 2D animator and a 3D generalist, and I'm freelancing for 8 months now, I guess.
Hello, my name is Daniel Canderle. I'm a senior character artist working for Blur Studio. I've been working in this industry for more than 20 years, so I guess I'm the old guy here.
My name is Mehdi Hadi. I'm a freelance motion designer and director. And I go by, I do mainly cinematic, game cinematics and title sequences.
Hello, my name is Roman. I'm a 3D artist and a freelancer since 1 week.
1 week.
Welcome.
Welcome to the club.
Hi, my name is Shander Churi, and I'm a founder and creative director of Over Studio Paris and Montreal now.
Oh, you want me to go?
Sure.
I mean,
we do this every time. I always point it. Yeah, I know, but it's for the podcast. Whatever.
All right. My name is Jonathan Wimbush, motion graphics artist based out of Southern California, working primarily in television, film, and video games. And I did this for 45 minutes already, but just for back.
We know. It's still fun. There may be someone online who just now showed up for the very first time. They're like, oh, let's go to the DAT Paris show of all places, right?
I'm famous on the internet.
Right? Oh, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to start off with this question because we've got 6 freelancers and 1 studio owner. Is that correct?
Yes.
what is the state of motion graphics in Paris? It seems that there's it's been all different all over Europe. And here it seems like, just by the panel, we've got a good portion of freelancers versus studio owners. In Barcelona, it was all studio owners versus freelancers. Is that the general consensus of artists here? Feel free to jump in at any point. Any one of y'all.
Well, for me, I would say being a freelancer, as it's say in the word free, you have the freedom to choose which company you will work for, and it's easier to move to another project or other kind of project. So I think for me at least, I choose to be freelancer for that reason.
To share my experience, I did after school. I was at full-time in a studio named Rav, and I leave it to start freelancing, but I continue to work with them. I had more...
That's the way to do it.
Yes, I had stability and money to live. But I think for me it's better because you can choose other projects and you can organize your day, your life differently than full-time. So I don't know how it's happened for people who work directly with clients, but I think it's better freelancing for me.
I agree.
Yeah, I think also it's just really recent that people are going into freelance more and more after COVID, and also people want to choose to be free to arrange their planning more efficiently, I guess. For me, I've been always freelancing, so I don't know, but from what I see, most of them, they are starting to be in freelance only for a couple of years, and it's I guess it's a general trend, not only in France but everywhere, I guess. And in this case, I guess it's also the chance of who can choose to be there. But I don't know if it's a real pattern specific to France. I don't know.
We'll find
or to Paris, yeah.
For me, it all depends about basically what you want to do. I don't know if you guys know how basically the work is distributed. Again, among graphic designer and studios, basically you have the client, God, then you have the agency that's going to basically distribute all the cards to different studios or designer, and you have studios. So basically that's how the chain of command work. Now, today, it's more easy for freelance designer to kind of compete with studios, but imply a lot of time, dedication, responsibility, late nights, you know. So it basically depends how you feel about the work. You know, if you are, obviously there are some advantages to be a solo designer on a big project, mainly money, basically, but you have to trade off that with a lot of stress and time, you know. So you can be freelance, and it can be quite good to be freelance today. In France, it depends with basically the client or the agency, but it can be a good state of work. And if you work with studios, will be more, maybe less stressed, you know. But in my case, since I doing this for 10 years, freelancing, and I work with studios, and this is the reason now I work solo, because I see that a lot of stuff didn't appeal to me to work with a large team, you know. But it all depends about personal preferences and basic ambitions.
Well, as a studio, actually, and made a really good point about creative control. Actually, why you open a studio? You open a studio, I think, for 3 reasons, basically: for to appear bigger, The second reason is to access a bigger project, basically, because sometimes what you do on a small scale is exactly the same thing that what you do at a big scale, but of course the return is not the same. And the third reason is to have a kind of a better creative control of your work, because sometimes you're working directly with the client. It can be an artist in our case, or it can be a brand, or it can be a museum or exhibition or tour manager or whatever. So the studio wise, it's definitely right now much more competitive, because we compete directly with you guys, with the freelancers, which is a good thing, because we don't do the same things and we don't have the same workflows, we don't have the same kind of state of mind. But yeah, this is the choice that you can make. Also, you can open your small studio if you want to kind of preserve creative control on your work, but it's much more risky in many cases, because the return is bigger, but the risk is quite big too on the big project. So yeah, it's basically that.
How many are you a solo studio owner, or are you working with a team?
Yeah, it's a team.
Yeah.
Yes.
How many people work for you?
Well, right now it's kind of it's a little bit difficult we have a kind of a core team and we have an extended team.
Sure. Yeah.
Per project. So we have basically today we have 3 associates in the core studio. Well, I'm talking about a studio in Paris, and we have Montreal. By the way, Felix is here. He's from Montreal studio, and the 4 guys in Montreal studio, they're kind of the core team, and then we have an extended team for whatever we need extra, basically. But it's let's say it's 4 in Paris, 4 there, and we have perhaps like a 5-6 relatively constant extended team.
Let me ask you this, because
Yes.
that brings up an interesting topic. Running a studio in 2 both completely separate countries, in completely different time zones, how difficult is that?
Well, it's a work in progress, because it's been right now. It's been basically. It's not very. It's been what? It's been like 1 year and a half, something like that. That we're kind of really merging, let's say, and I know my cause of death. It will be jet lag. This is for sure, because it's killing me every time after I'm staying 1 month and a half, because I'm really susceptible. I'm really kind of very touchy about that. But about the time zones, I think it's not such a big deal if the teams are independent, basically. The guys also have their own organization, so they have a kind of a team meeting every day, basically, and I'm jumping in once a week sometimes, and sometimes more if I need it. But yeah, it's but it has some advantages too, because you can have around the clock work.
Yeah, I was gonna say, are
yes.
y'all working on the exact same projects, or is it run kind of separately? Or when it needs to grow for one bigger project, do you both work on it at the same time?
Well, I don't know.
Sorry to focus solely on you. I know the rest of the guys are.
No, of course, but just I'm finished and promise. Let's say today our experience shows that it can be both. Mm-hmm. Whatever we need more, we can kind of do around the clock kind of a work in Montreal. Especially we were working on the bridge project together. It was much more motion graphic, much more kind of let's say set design graphic, and I need to I need to be clear because I'm not really a motion graphics studio. We are doing the installation work. We're doing only basically real-time work. So for us, C4D is a tool for a lot of things, but it's not kind of a final destination. So yeah, so we work basically in Touch Designer all the time. Touch Designer and real.
The Winbush way of working, right?
Yes. So yeah, just to the short answer is everything is possible if you can, if you are willing to put some hours in it and to to get organization going. We have a kind of a common space. We have a Notion that handles all the kind of workflows. The Notion SO, I'm sure you know these things. So yeah, so basically, it's not that complicated. Everything all the common working spaces, Google Drives, whatever it is. So now it's quite easy, basically.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, real quick, because I've been asking this in every city pretty much, but what kind of work are you guys primarily doing here? Like I know in Barcelona, they said they did like a lot of commercial work, right? And then Vancouver, a lot of motion capture work.
Berlin, it was all cars.
Yeah, Berlin was all cars. Toronto, they were getting some film stuff. So like what kind of work are you guys getting here as freelancers? Like commercial stuff, movie stuff? Or is it like a variety of different things?
I think it really depends on the profile of people. Sometimes some people will be more focused on title design, cinematic, commercials, and but mainly in France, from my experience, it's mostly standard TV commercials that you can find in studios, and in the motion graphic department, the most project that you can find is in installations, just in terms of mass of production, but there's a lot of different production. For my part, for example, there's a few French clients, French studios or agencies that call me. It's mostly US or Asia, that just call me to do titles or cinematics or design. So it really depends of the style of the designer and the studios, I guess.
Well, I can add perhaps for everyone that being in Paris, it's a lot of luxe. So lots of luxe work, for luxury brands. So LVMH, Dior, Chanel, L'Oreal, it's less luxury brand, but they have today everything, basically. So I think everyone already worked for those. This is the market in Paris, basically. Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Go ahead.
Oh yeah. Just personally, it's been 2 years. I started working as a freelancer, and I feel glad because I had the opportunity to work on very different projects, and there was a lot of different things. Like it depends if I work with a studio or with an independent, like creative persons. A lot of different things are possible because I worked for people like YouTube personalities. But also studios, that is something really different because it's more about, you were talking about it, it's different workflows, it's different type of projects, and but it's a lot of publicity mainly. But it can be a lot of things like also Beijing or live concerts. It can be really different. Just with 3D visuals, you can touch a lot of different projects. So it's very different each time.
Where's a good majority of the work coming from? Is it mostly based in Paris and in France? Is it all over Europe, or are you getting a lot of work from the United States?
Personally, I think it's one of the main advantage of working in this field. It can be really in a lot of different places in the world. Like it's never the same place. Of course, it's a lot of. I've worked a lot with French people or French studios because I am here, so it's more practical for time zones. But it's all about organization. I worked a lot with international studios, and it's all about just organization. If we have the good deadlines, the good projects, it's still possible to just organize and work. Like this month, I'm working with a Californian studio. So we have like 9-hour difference, but the deadlines are okay. So I work when they sleep, and they sleep when I work.
Favorite.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to say I started like 10 years ago to work as a freelancer. But I guess for all of us, we got known thanks to the internet, and that's why it's not really locally based, our audience. And also most of my clients are abroad, and a lot of them in the US, because the market is huge. But yeah, also it's doable. Actually, it's really as long as the deadlines are not too tight. Sometimes you have to work late, but if you are prepared, you can do it easily, I guess.
So based off that, because I spoke to a few people here that might be students and they're just getting started, like you mentioned the internet, like when you guys started as freelancers looking for work in different regions, like how did you guys go about it? Was it like starting up a LinkedIn page or Instagram, or just starting your own portfolio and just like cold calling or cold emailing, or like how did you guys branch out and get these companies to know who you were and that you were capable of doing the work?
Yeah, I can start. Actually, I did a business school, so it was really not related to that. But I was creating 3D stuff on the side for years since middle school, and I was publishing a lot of projects, but they didn't get noticed at all. And at some point, one of them got noticed on Tumblr at the time. So I don't know where those guys are now, but and on Behance, and then it's the same process with Instagram. But I was really not prepared to make this my full-time job. When people and agencies from all over the world started to contact me, I was like, okay, I can really work, make that as a living, and I'm still amazed 10 years after.
Yeah. It's funny because I think it's same experience for me.
Yeah.
It really depends on each people, I guess. But in my case, it was a lot of Instagram and Behance that also worked a lot. This is where I have a lot of feedbacks, and generally when people contact me by email, they say, we saw your profile on Instagram. It's like my real portfolio. I don't have any websites. I just have Instagram and maybe Twitter. But it's mainly Instagram and Behance in my case.
Yeah, and I think we are quite lucky because, as I said, my first job as full-time was in a studio. And I saw a story of them saying that they were looking for an intern motion designer. I just liked the story, and we started discuss. And
You liked the story,
yeah, and like 3 weeks after, I was working with them. So we are quite lucky with tools like Instagram, Behance, because we can find work not easily, but it can happen really fast, I think.
Do you find that that's still the case, though? Like, with social media has changed so much over the past even 5 years, or even since COVID. And I know a lot of younger people aren't even using Instagram or Facebook or even LinkedIn. You know, it's like, do you think that's changed a lot?
For my part, I just made a reel on Vimeo, and basically it was mostly LinkedIn when I started, but it was like 10 years ago. Instagram was a good part of my work also. I know big studios like Framestore or Blur or other big studios called me via Instagram, but it was easier back then because algorithm wasn't a thing that much today. It's much harder now because basically before you could just post a still images, just one render, and you would be discovered pretty easily. You know, today if it's not animated, if it's not a video, it won't go up. So basically,
plus you also have to differentiate yourself from AI.
Yeah,
you know.
So now you just have to understand the algorithm just to make sure that your work is seen, and now it's more difficult because you have to be up to date with all that stuff. That is completely not the job actually, but you have to. Otherwise, your work's just going to die on your very cool page, but no one will see it. You know, so.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we have. actually we have two completely different experience with the Instagram and with the Montreal studio. By the way, Montreal studio is called Isoton Studio if you want to follow it. And so the guys are definitely much more Instagram, or basically Instagram. This is the truth, right? So it's basically all the time the stories, all the time communicating and creating the community. I'm really an old man today, so I hardly use it in my personal life, and definitely for now, not in professional life. Well, I needed to revamp completely for this tour, by the way, the whole Instagram, because apparently it works. So yeah, for us it was definitely, as a studio, we worked a lot as a white mark also. The unbranded for a lot of artists, so we cannot even show some things. So, or say, by the way, for a lot of American artists, like when you producing the content or scenography or stage design or something. And so yeah, sometimes it can have its own advantages to be a little bit more kind of niche and a little bit hidden from the public view. Well, and then of course it's just your work that speaks for itself, and from one studio to another, that's it. Because you don't know a lot of VFX companies, for example, even the small ones, so, and they do those amazing effects, so it's not, well, in our domain especially, it's not really that 100% necessary, I feel, today, to have super duper Instagram on the hands.
Any of y'all on TikTok? Posting your stuff on TikTok? Yeah.
Have to.
Yeah. Have you gotten like work from it?
Yeah, TikTok is weird. TikTok is very, very
That's for sure.
It's so random. I mean, I posted like 4 videos and there were like 1,000 views, and yeah, right. But the 6th one, I don't know why it made like 3 million views, and I don't know why.
But did you get any work from that?
Yeah, 4. Yeah.
Really? 4 jobs off of that?
4 production off of that.
Wow, there you go. Who's on TikTok? Anybody? No one's on TikTok? There we go. We got 2 people on TikTok. All right, see? These are the ones who are going to get
just
the job.
Post your work everywhere and just see what happened. Don't restrain yourself because you think it's dumb. Or just post your thing and just close the app.
Yeah, I guess it's a good point. It's very important to be on any social network. You choose the one you like the most, but you won't be known if you don't do it. So you have to do it. So
yeah, I really agree with that. Also, I tried different ones, and you were talking about LinkedIn, and I was thinking like it's more dead about creativity than other social networks like Instagram, but finally there was a lot of feedbacks on different creations, so I just felt like I lost nothing to just try, and sometimes it can be really good, a really good surprise. Just, can I ask you a question about TikTok?
Yeah.
I'm not a pro.
I'm great at swiping. If you need any help, yeah.
No, personally, I don't have TikTok, but you also can earn money. You feel like you also can earn money with TikTok just with the views, with the remuneration of TikTok, or not at all?
I didn't pay attention to that actually. Okay. I know that well, with the amount of views I got, I could earn some money, but you have to fill some criterion. No, you some boxes to check. Like you have to have like 10,000 followers. You have to post at least 3 times a month or something like that. Your previous videos should have like more than that amount. So yeah, you have to be there. You know, they encourage you to be there and to stay there all the time as much as you can, because well, money is there, you know, in the retention time. So you have to basically check some boxes to be able to gain money. You know.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
What was y'all's conversation? What were y'all saying?
No, he's asking me between TikTok and YouTube. Like I do YouTube, of course, but because I'm doing long form stuff, so like I've tried TikTok, but I can't like cram everything in 60 seconds, and then it's vertical, so it's like you're getting this much of me, and yeah, it's just like I never understood the whole like TikTok tutorial thing, because like you don't learn nothing. I
agree.
Yeah, I agree. Like I say what up, and that's already like 10 seconds, and it's like so now I got like 50 seconds to like speed run through it, and then like the comment I got was like, "What the hell did I just watch?" Yeah. So it's like, so yeah, YouTube is it for me, but like. You know, I tried, like everybody here said, like you try to get on everything that you can, and you just never know. Like it just takes one video or one, image to blow up, and that could be the takeoff point for you right there.
So how do you make time to do all this extra social media stuff? Because I'll tell you, running freelance, also running a website, and doing all the stuff that comes with that is in order to try and promote yourself. It's like I don't have any time for my family. Sorry.
For me, I learned from the beginning that. All the work I had is based on my personal project. So I basically maintain the fact that I have to do personal project to have jobs, and that's what basically happened.
That's even harder.
Yeah, but well. I work like that, and I work a lot. Obviously, I cannot spend much time with my family. That's the trade-off to be a prolific artist. But you have to sacrifice something. You know, you have time, family, and activities, and you have to, at some point, reduce something. And since my job make me a living for my family, I just have to cut some activities, and sometimes when production is going crazy, especially at the end of production when the deadline is coming very quick, well, family cannot be part of the picture basically, so I have to just not be there. And that's the reality of just being a freelance artist, because it's all your responsibilities, So yeah, I have to take more time to make personal stuff, because basically I want to showcase the type of project I want to work commercially. So I did a lot of robots, for example, and a big client called me for making a robot, and I was happy with that. And when I made a personal film, that was kind of the vibe I wanted to work that year. Studios called me for that type of film, and I was happy during the year. So basically, just upload what you want, what kind of work you want, and then about my work, just to make thing easy, since social media is a part of life now, we cannot get around that. Something that make me save time is I made all my renders square. I no longer work in like 16:9 or just a CinemaScope format. I just prepare myself to. I'm going to share that also on social media, Instagram, TikTok, and everything. So I prepared the formats of my film to fit correctly into a social media format.
All of your short films are square?
Yes.
Wow.
So
a lot of pixels to render.
Yeah.
So it's twice the time, but it's win at the end.
So it's kind of crazy. Like, it's probably showing my age, but when I first got started, everything was 4x3, right? So it's almost square. and then we kept getting into widescreen, 16 by 9, and even ultra wide, and now it's back down to square.
Yeah.
It's literally like
Yeah, back to square. So all my old stuff from the early 2000s, I can make a demo reel showing
Right.
square stuff again. So. Yeah. But I wanted to ask too. No, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah.
No, it was just I wanted to add on the live versus work balance. It's funny because for me, I feel it's like quite the opposite as what you said, because since I'm in freelance, I can optimize and I can do my laundry whenever I want. I can go to the post office when there is nobody there. Can do everything. And I feel I have really more time to do work and personal projects and spend time with my family. I don't have any kids. Maybe it must be harder, I guess, if you have.
You do.
But I feel like I have a lot of time actually. Yeah,
It's because you don't have kids.
maybe you have kids.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I have two, and it's the same. With kids, you lost a lot of time with your family.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you work as an employee in a company, it must be even worse, no?
Yeah, Karen is asking.
Oh, I know. He's always got his hand up. Go ahead. I'm just giving you a hard time.
Hi, everyone. Quick one. As you mentioned regarding being a freelancer and you have more free time, but now that you are established, you are saying that you have free time. But when you started as a freelancer, was it the same?
That's a good question.
No. Did you have to like really go after things and you didn't have time then because you had to get work done when you started, right?
Yeah, it was more intense at the beginning, but not that much, I feel. Because I choose to refuse some project when it was the big boom at the beginning. Also, you have to sometimes force yourself to refuse projects, but it's hard at the beginning because you want to have credibility, and you also think maybe tomorrow I won't have work anymore, so you want to accept everything. So I can understand at the beginning you want to take all of the jobs, but yeah, it's getting more balanced after a while, I guess. Yeah.
I guess I did the same mistake when I started becoming freelancer. I took too many jobs, and I remember for like 3 months I worked every day, even the weekend, even on Sunday for 3 months. And at the end, when I was done with the project, I said never this again. So you have
I've done that like 4 times.
Yes.
Never again. 6 months later. Oh, never again.
No, I was lucky. But,
You got one?
No, I'll
Go
take
for
it.
it.
So for the people out there that don't have, or they don't have personal projects, or they're not putting stuff online, like, no, you ask this a lot, Matt. Like, do you guys have like a local meetup or any local events that you guys attend to do like networking? Like, give a shout out to Cook Motion Plus
Yes.
Design. They have their
I think
event.
that's next week, right?
They have Motion Plus
Yeah.
next week. I've done Motion Plus in LA. Like, that's a good event. Like, do you guys have events like that locally that happen a lot where you guys can network and get to talk to industry professionals and studios and get your work out there that way?
Yeah, there is a lot of them. There is also in Nantes Motion that quite big, and a lot of small events in Lyon where you can talk to people. And even Maxon did something like that today, when you can meet a professional or maybe studio. There is a lot, yes, I think.
There's also a bit in the south of France. I don't remember the name, but there is a cool event in Montpellier. And you were talking about motion. I think it's a good example because a lot of things in France, I find that a lot of things are in Paris because it's the biggest city. All the agencies and studios are here, so it's normal. But Nantes is one of my favorite cities about motion design and creative things. Because I don't know why, I don't know where this comes from, but a big community. I think there is a cool community of creative people and motion designers that did a very good job about communication and about passion. And this group of people organized the motion, and it became very popular. And I think it's so cool event because it's really comparable to motion plus design in terms of reactions of people, amount of people. I don't have the exact English name, but a lot of people are coming in Nantes just for this event, and it's a really different event than motion plus design, but it's so interesting, and it permits to grow and to have also a lot of work on community, not only in Paris. I think it's the second real town of motion design in France, in my opinion, and I think it's cool if we can do this also in other cities like Lyon, maybe, or Montpellier. I don't know.
Is there any? What would you suggest for? Because we're in a university. You know, what would you suggest to the university students to jump into this and to start networking? What do you think would be the best way to do that?
What do you mean by networking?
Networking, like meeting other motion designers, talking shop, you know, giving out your demo reel and such.
Yeah.
What we're doing here, outside, right outside, networking. Connecting, yeah.
There you go.
From my experience, you have to have good work first, because you have to have good work. When I started, I went to the first Motion Plus, the very first event, and I didn't have the greatest portfolio, so I was just wasting my time there, because you can go there and networking, but if your work is not good enough, what's the point? You know, so you just have to first make sure that your work is good enough, and then you can go to whatever show you want. But from my experience, me personally, I never got any type of work from networking with anybody or any events. So it's cool to see friends and laugh a little bit, but no work come from there. So my experience, at least.
He's making his millions on Instagram.
but just doing nice stuff and posting them on Vimeo and Instagram, that's the only thing that got me work, basically. Yeah.
Yes, Karan.
If I may, I would suggest everybody to just be more curious. You know, be open, go talk to people, go talk to artists. Don't be shy about it. Because I guess this is the time when you can ask questions that you usually don't get answers to. You can learn from them, share your ideas as well, because you never know. Again, everybody has their own experience, but more on the networking side and learning side and understanding what happens outside the university life. This is the best time. And at networking, that you ask questions and learn a lot from that, not just for students, but everybody. Me at this age as well, I work at Maxon, but I'm curious to know everything that everybody does. That's why I ask a lot of questions, and that takes you places. So that's my personal advice.
Absolutely, I agree. And the thing is, don't ever feel like you're taking us away from our conversations or like annoying us or anything. We love talking shop. Like someone says the word, it's funny. So I just assume everyone does motion design. Like anywhere I go and get my hair cut, I assume that's just like a hobby that the person does and they actually do motion design. I'm just waiting for that person to talk shop with me. So don't be afraid.
I don't know, did you guys got any opportunities or work from events like motion plus design or something?
No, but an advice to young people, I said, Roman knows more about it than me, is challenge on the internet.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like 36 days, Monday challenge. Like it has a good reach and you can train yourself on some subject that everyone does it. And for the beginning, I think it's a good idea.
I like that. I like that. Go ahead.
No, just to say I agree. So
Then create a series also by your own can be a good way to reach people, and then they want to follow and see what's going to happen next.
I agree. Yeah, definitely create your own style or create your own series of stuff. There's an amazing artist. Does anyone know Patrick Forty? He does a ton of like food renders and stuff. I absolutely love his work. He started off doing these like super botched characters and then moved into food and found his niche there. And from that point on, he's been able to get lots of work doing stuff like that. But so, yes, doing the repetition, doing the 36 days of type or whatever it is, you know, will help you hone those skills and help you get your own style.
I just wanted to add something about networking and connecting. I think you don't have to be afraid of asking people directly on social network. You don't have to go to a real events or something like that. You have a lot of people who have many and many followers, but
often they answer.
C'est ça. They answer really often, and you don't have to be scared of that.
Add to about the networking as a studio also. We have a little bit different experience from a networking. Of course, it's not about networking per se, actually. It's about the follow-up and about what you do with it, actually. There are a lot of different type of events, let's say. So this is much more informal events when I didn't even bring my laptop, which is really rare. So... but there are a lot of those which are really quite professional and quite kind of framed. Like we were, I think it was 2 weeks ago in the Kick Festival. It's in Belgium. It's in Namur, and it's the festival which is basically more technology oriented. But everything is hybrid today, so it's also everything visual and technology kind of fused in one. There are a lot of motion capture people there and everything. So, and I had a lot of motion designers, freelancers coming to our booth. I was in the French delegation there, kind of presenting themselves. I had a lot of cards, a lot of Instagrams and everything. So I think it's very interesting because I don't know what kind of a project I will be doing tomorrow and what kind of extended network I will need tomorrow, if any, of course. But it's always good to kind of to be the most important part perhaps is to be ready, actually, is to be ready when opportunity presents, and it's a lot of work, this is for sure. But
and it's not just like you don't just have to meet up in person.
No.
Honestly, like having an online presence, we have a Slack channel with like 1,200 people in it, maybe 100 actually, talk every day. But just having that conversations, you start to get to know the people and their work. And then if something comes up, a job comes up, you know who to reach out to.
Yes.
Being able to share your work on stuff like that, even if it's not in person, is very important.
Yes, but in person it's super important, even if we are in a digital work. Drinks help, this is for sure. It's a social lubricant like nothing else.
Get like 3 or 4 drinks in them first and then show your reel.
Yes. You need to train this skill, how to hold a drink. This is definitely will help you in any domain. But a lot of event happens after the event, actually. So it will happen after we finish here. It will happen in basically when we speak to each other just about fabulous weather and blazing sun of Paris.
I think we had a question over here, right? Okay, so the question was, what do you think is more important, creativity, story, design, or the technical skills, right?
I think creativity links. Oh, sorry. Just creativity links the 3 other themes. So maybe we should remove that one because you can be creative in the story. Not the technical actually.
I don't know. It's watching Chris Schmidt stuff up here. That was pretty creative.
That's right. Yeah. No. Yeah. Of course. Yeah.
Problem solving. Yeah.
Yeah. That's all I wanted to say.
I'll go with a story, I think. Yeah.
Well, I think it really depends on the situation. From my point of view, you can be very good technically, you will find some job. You can be very good on story, you will find some job. It's the same for creativity. So it will depend what you want to do and to find what the company will need your competence.
Yeah, for me, I think it's a package. It's everything at once, you know. So I can't really choose because it's basically all of that. It's just part of the job. You know, you can have a great story, but if your visual is not good enough, well, no one will be paying interest to that great story. You know, and the same if the visual is great and the story sucks, well, no matter it is not good enough. So yeah, I think it's best to think about that as a package and just try to be good as every kind of steps, you know, story design, animation, and technical stuff. If you are not technical enough, basically you restrain yourself from being more free creatively. If you can do nothing technically, well, you basically cut yourself from a lot of possibilities. So that's why you have to pay attention and just try to learn as much as possible. Even stuff that's not really funny, like rigging or very hard technical stuff.
Yeah, no, I agree off that. You want to know a little bit of everything if you can, because it depends on the client too. Like say, if you're getting work from Marvel, like they have their style guide already. So there's like a little leeway to be creative in there, but they have their guide to, you have to stay within those restraints. And so it just depends. And then you might get like a commercial job where they're like, we're hiring you for your creativity so you can run wild. So it's good to be well-rounded and just be able to adapt to whatever situation you're in.
But all of them are important. All of the best work that is created incorporates all of those really well. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, I mean, so it's the conversation we have a lot about generalizing, being a generalist versus specializing, you know, and as you get older, should you specialize in order to try, sorry, an alarm, time to go pick up my kid. Should you specialize in one specific thing in order to kind of become that expert, you know, the one that people go to for that specialization? I'd love to hear y'all's thoughts.
I said that I'm still a 3D generalist, and I feel that for me now, I'm quite young. It's been like a year that I'm working, but I need to learn something in every project. And being generalist allows me to learn like technical part, composition, how colors, how light work, or more specific on the softwares or new softwares. So for me, being generalist is like essential for now, but I think maybe in 2, 3, 4 years I will specify, but it's not actual now.
Well, for me, I'm really specialized on character creation. It's because I like to do it. It's not because I have to, it's because this is what I like to do. So I try to specialize and to work only on this kind of projects.
In any case, I think you need specialized people in any kind of style of film. For me, I'm not a specialist of character or special effects, but sometimes I need someone that is very good at it, you know. But for the people, for example, that will be extremely talented in FX, will not be able to make a whole film, for example, and maybe they don't want to, and that's fine. Me, I want to make my own film. I want to do it as solo as possible with few people that are very good at their job. I know enough FX, but not at a level that I need to sometime. So I need to call someone that's very, very specialized in that. It all depends about personal preferences. If you want to make your own stories, if you want to make your own stuff, you have to be a generalist, and it's just something that it's personal to you, to your choices and to your ambition, basically.
I think there is an art form to, or specializing can be an art unto itself, right? Like being the best at hair, you know? Like for me, that sounds really boring. But for someone, I'm sure there's someone at a studio somewhere, or not, they're freelancing and they're like, I love hair, you know? And it's like they're the best at hair. And they are the one that people come to and they see it as an art form. They love sculpting the hair and cutting the hair and just making it look good. And there's a certain amount of pride that comes with finishing a job and knowing you have done a fantastic job. And I think some of that specialization is an art form unto itself.
I would suggest also that there is a kind of a question of a size of a project, that it doesn't size well to be a generalist in all.
Yes.
In every respect. It's basically not possible. If you're freelance, it's definitely to have a kind of a lot of arrows on your bow, you know. It's a definite advantage, but not if you're kind of in your workflow of the studio. If you have you don't need 10 art director on the one thing. Believe me, it will be very
directors
difficult.
Will tell you that.
No, believe me, it will be very difficult to work even with 2 art director on the same thing. So because it's kind of a question of vision and ego and big picture and whatever it is. So, but yeah, I think it's the size that matters in this respect. So, and specializing also, you cannot ask, very good art director in our case to be a very good coder, for example, to a very good developer, because it's completely different heads, basically brains. So it's a little bit more nuanced, I think,
I would also like to add, perhaps think about where you want to go into the future. You know, if you want to work for a studio and you want to kind of just focus on one specific thing, specialization could be right up your alley. But if you want to, say, maybe run your own studio, you know, generalizing can be very helpful in that way, because you're able to talk to so many different people. And then when it comes to a very specialized skill set that you need, you look for those people who you can hire out instead of actually trying to take on the work yourself.
I can say on that, whether it's hiring people or just collaborate for free with just other freelancer, I realized I never choose to specialize in any field, so I'm doing all the animation and the lighting and everything by myself for more than 10 years. But at some point I reached a barrier, like when you want to work on really big and beautiful animation projects, like create a short animated video at some and tell the story of a character and something really deep and all. At some point you have to collaborate with people. You cannot not do anything by yourself. And at these times you're talking about the future. I think I want to ask maybe some of those guys to collaborate and do something together, because you cannot do anything by yourself, I guess.
Yeah, for example, if you see Avatar 2, there's just a bunch of specialized people that know exactly and perfectly their field. And you wouldn't have that kind of result if everyone was a generalistic person, you know? So you have to, it all depends on the project.
He hires out teams.
Yeah.
Ashthorpe.
A lot.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. Watch the credit. Watch the credit and you will see all the names. Yeah.
Like, I mean, yeah, you've got teams, you know, who will hire out people that they've worked with. You know, I know Ashthorpe has hired out some people specifically for his modeling of the one of the rally cars that he did. Like, he had someone else model almost the entire thing, you know. And then you've got Beeple, who sends off some of it, not his dailies, but, you know, sends off some of the work that he did when he did the FITC titles. You know, he hired that out to a whole team of people instead of doing it all himself, you know. But yes, it sure does. Some of them do take the credit like they did it all themselves. Yeah.
That's why it's important to read down in the like the comments or down in the description, because people will hide it down there too. So like I'm friends with Ash, so I'll call him out.
Yeah.
But like that, like you said, like you thought that he did everything in there, but he might have a team of like 5 or 6 people, but they're down in the description too. So like a lot of people get the FOMO, like, oh, I wish I could do that type of work. I'll never be that good. But in reality, it's a collaborative effort. So it's good to kind of put everything in perspective and never compare yourself to what's out there, because sometimes it's not reality.
Yeah.
You have to have a look behind the curtain to see what's really there.
Yeah, he work a lot, like not human actually. So so I don't know when he sleep. Maybe
I don't think he has.
I'm not sure he sleep at all actually, but don't compare yourself to anyone. Just find your rhythm and work on your own stuff, and great thing will follow. But but at some point we all need other people to work on our project.
Yeah, the further you go in your career, the more people that you're going to want to know and who you have networked with to bring on for the different projects that you get. More questions? More questions? That's a good question. Yeah. Okay, so what do you recommend doing as a freelancer, or as a freelancer? In order to be able to generate revenue easily? Yeah.
I think a lot of people started by working with if you started working with a studio, you just can, as Luca, you just can continue to work with them. A lot of people start like this. And I think, I don't know, it's my personal experience, but when you start as a freelancer, I decided to start when I got enough email, enough proposition. So I was like, I stopped school. So I was like, okay, I can start freelancing. I just stopped school and I made this choice. But I think it's cool to start when you already have a minimum of opportunities. But there are also solutions like contacting studios, or that's what came in mind. But maybe
I had the same experience. I started working on game companies, and there I started to create my network. And when my network was big enough and I was confident I could work by myself, I decided to move to freelancing.
I have the same experience.
Yeah, what have you been doing the past 2 weeks to prepare for freelancing?
I was working on a studio that create online events and stuff like so. And in parallel, I just started in Instagram page, so I post some personal work. I do some challenges like the 36 days of type and stuff like so. So I build my own page, Behance and stuff like so. And now I'm like confident enough to launch myself and connect with some studios and stuff like so. I contact some of them and just show my work, and it's good.
I'll go with Behance without hesitating.
Behance too. Yeah. Vimeo, it's too bad now. Like it's so bad. It's it was good before, not now. It's not very easy to use, and not many people watch Vimeo now. It's very niche for us. It's cool. It's clean. It's professional. You know. So every one of my videos are on Vimeo. But if I strive to have more views, just Instagram or YouTube, basically. So
yeah, I've known a lot of people who have switched from Vimeo, because also Vimeo charges you if you've got a certain amount, or if you want longer videos. YouTube's free.
But just you can use Vimeo for Behance. I just use Vimeo to import Vimeo videos on my Behance project.
Yeah. It's useful.
Yes, and with Vimeo you can. Personally, I use it for clients. I upload a video private, and they can add some comments at one time, like change this, and when it's done, I can. Like Brunsab, you can integrate it in other websites like Behance or your own website.
The only thing is just, I don't know, I don't have any staff pics because I don't post enough on Vimeo. But I don't know if somebody that got a staff pics like right now on Vimeo, maybe it can bring work. I don't know if somebody has this experience, but I think
it's just a cool badge, actually. It's nice to have that on your page. It's cool, but well, it puts you on front of the page, so you will have more views. So potentially more people or client will see your video. But for me, the thing that's very practical on Vimeo is you can replace your video without losing anything.
I wish YouTube would do that.
So this is very practical. So I use Vimeo and I upload on every platform with the Vimeo link, like that. If something goes wrong and I have to delete some shots, so I just re-upload the video. Nothing's changed in the view count or the likes or anything, or the comments, and good to go. But yeah, Vimeo is still shitty right now.
Yeah,
but there are definitely a couple of professional features in Vimeo that you cannot find it elsewhere.
Yeah,
especially as a CDN, it's content delivery network. You know that your video is much more fluid when you're on the same continent and everything. So it's basically something that completely hidden. It's quite complex if you do it by yourself because it's linking and everything. It's completely hidden from you. So it's Vimeo is handling this one. And also kind of I think it's the privacy of the videos and the client work. It's definitely, and also you can just share with the one domain, because we do a lot of digital work, kind of a texturing over the 3D model in real time. So it's definitely kind of a delivery system of Vimeo. It's much more sophisticated and much more kind of a professionally adapted, but perhaps the reach is not the same because it's quite more niche.
I don't ever worry about the reach with Vimeo. For me, it's always, will it play or not? Because they have buffering issues, and I can never get a Vimeo video to actually play all the way through. It'll always pause on me. So we had one more question up here. Somebody? I saw a hand. Don't compare yourself, your work, to someone else's highlight reel, because you don't know how many explainer videos they've done, you know? And we try and portray ourselves as doing the best work and putting out the best work, and you don't know how many explainer videos I've done that I don't put on my reel. I don't know. I'd love to hear y'all's thoughts on it, because for me, it's a fine line between, just feeling like I'm not good enough, and then also in the complete reverse of that, feeling like I'm a total badass, you know?
I understand something when I had a discussion with people that I think are really amazing. They produce amazing film. And even them, sometimes they have some doubt. They feel not confident about their work. And I was like, why? It's amazing. So I think you will probably always in your career have that feeling at some times, not every time. So you have to deal with it. It's okay, I think.
Just something I think. In my case, personally, it's also a lot about. This is not a problem because I just love what I do. I mean, not my work, but what I'm working, the field I am working on. I just love to create something with 3D softwares, and I just love motion design. And so the work of other people is not a problem because it's just motivation. Like when I see something that I find really cool, I just want to do better. Like I'm so competitive, and so it's not nothing about trust, or I just see something and I'm like, okay, it's cool, I have to do better, and to so I think it's cool to be also a bit competitive, but not bad competition, like something really aggressive and but just something cool and constructive. And personally, I started working with people really better than me because I was working with people like 5 years older than me, so everything was like so good compared to me, and it was just a motivation to do. Okay, I will. I just want to work to make something cooler than what they do.
Yeah, I think what's important, it's always try to get better. Even when you start to reach a certain level and to be known for stuff, always keep working to be better. There are always room to be better for anyone. So never stop to say, yes, I'm the best. Because if you're doing that, you won't be the best very long. So
yeah, that's for sure. Always, like, if you get the imposter syndrome, look at the work that is causing you to feel that way. How can I make my work better, and improve myself to where I won't feel like so much of an imposter, even though your work's probably fine.
Yeah, I feel that every time I go to the first page of ArtStation, actually. And it's quite normal to feel that way, I think, but the thing I learned during the time is just everyone have something more to offer, you will meet some incredible people that just don't want what you want, or just want to work something very cool, low-key, and it could be so much more, because when you see the work, why you are not just like the director of the film also, but sometimes they just don't want that, and talents, it's something very different people to people. So everyone have a voice, a style, something interesting to propose. So think like that.
I think basically the answer is, if you find out the answer to this question one day, please call me.
Yeah, let us know. That'd be awesome. Yes, Karan.
A bit philosophical, but something that I believe in is your competition is yourself and your downfall is yourself as well. So it's up to you what you choose. Either you follow others and start being like, oh, he's so better, or look at yourself and like, how can I be better than what I was yesterday? I guess that'll help.
Yeah, no one hates me more than me.
And also don't hesitate to ask feedback around you, your friends, your family, and it's always useful.
Question up here in the book. Yeah. So, as far as style, building your own style, right? That evolves. I initially, when I started, it was all logos. I was doing terrible logos. I worked at a place where we were putting logos to jingles. Do y'all know what jingles are? Yeah, it was an awful job. And so I started off doing logos, but then slowly I like architecture, I like interiors, and I moved from that, and then it's like, okay, I like building out scenes, I like modeling, and it just evolves, and eventually you kind of find your own style. If you think people started off making weird stuff, he didn't start off making weird stuff. He spent about 12 years not doing that, and then he became successful the 3 years that he did. Anybody else? No? I think there was another question up here. Yes. Me personally, y'all feel free to jump in. You find artists that you like and you try and imitate that. And by imitating that, eventually you start to put your own spin on things, You may start off doing renders just like EJ's cute little character stuff, but then, maybe make them more demonic or something like that, so they don't look, and you slowly evolve into having your own style.
Yeah, usually you don't have only one person you like. You have a brand, lots of people, and you will pick this from this person, this from this person, and this is what you will make your style.
so once you have the skills set, the skills basis, you just explore. And I think it's also related to the emotions. Like for me, I studied a series based on the photography of the photograph of the old France, like forgotten territories of France, because I'm from the countryside and it was something emotional for me, and that's why I found the motivation and the way to do it just my own way. Because at first you have to imitate what you see, but then as you said, it will build up and become unique at some point, I guess.
Yeah, and it's take time. It's okay to take time. Like I remember when I was at school, I did some project. I didn't like the whole project, but I liked specifically one part or one aspect, like the gradient, like the noise. Really specific part, and I said to myself, okay, I will develop that in the next project. And after do that a lot of time, you can add some skills to your palette, and you can really be more precise and find your own style. But it takes time, of course.
Yeah, for me, I wasn't really questioning myself about style or just taking that too much seriously. My goal was to be good at software first. It was be good as just manipulating correctly Cinema 4D, After Effects, and if I was able to redo an animation that I see correctly, that was good enough. And then style came along. You know, I started to copy artists, and then, as you said, it kind of evolved to something more interesting for me. And then your style going to kind of appear, and then you have to ask yourself, what style for you? Is it just a color palette? Is it a style of modeling? Is it so style is kind of a broad, you know, and you will find it at one point, and maybe you won't even notice it. It just will come naturally to you, and people will point that out to you. This is your style, and you will, oh, okay, apparently now it's my style.
Yep. I just want to say too, I know as artists we want to emphasize on our own style, but also at the same time we're work for hire with different clients as well, and so it's good to be able to adapt to anything a client works. Like I've worked with the Country Music Network. I know nothing about country music, but I was able to adapt.
Don't lie.
Well, I'm saying, like, I worked with CMT Country Music Network at the Country Music Awards, and then turn around and worked with MTV on a breakdancing TV show. So it's like two completely different sides of the spectrum, but I was able to adapt to what the client needed. And so that was a style in itself, just being able to adapt and get whatever kind of jobs you could do. So I think, at least for me, because like I'm working for money, right? Not just for likes and stuff online. Like you want to be able to make the money and do what you can to get those clients that will pay you to do what they want. So.
All right, I have to ask the question because we've only got a few minutes left. And
you don't have to.
I don't have to, but I feel like I should. Okay, you know, I told them we'd come back to it. I would love to hear everyone's thoughts on AI. The Germans in Berlin didn't care for it much.
Say, Bush out. I'm done.
Yeah. But I mean, is it going to take our jobs? Are y'all worried about it at all?
Well, I guess it's kind of very new, so it's difficult right now to really see what will come. What's sure, there will always be people behind the AI, because at the end, when you are in a creative process, you need to think what you want to do, and the AI currently can't do that alone. But it's true that it probably will kill a lot of jobs in the process. So. I guess you have to be good at what you're doing, and yes,
Yeah,
Sure.
I think a lot of jobs can disappear or not be created, but at some point the AI cannot feed itself indefinitely, and it will start to be a
Feedback loop.
Yeah. So we still have to create, but some of the job will be lost along the way, I guess.
I think there's going to be a big transition in artists. Because I think what a lot of artists worry about is their work being fed into like an AI algorithm. And I'm really interested to see how they fight that, you know, how we as digital artists will be able to fight that and not allow our work to be included into the algorithm.
Yeah, I just want to say I wasn't going to say nothing, but
yeah.
I would say right off the bat for any freelancers out there, like make sure you put in your contract if you don't want AI or if you don't want your work fed into AI, let the studios know, because there are studios out there right now that are creating their own AI with like Stable Diffusion. So I know a couple of freelancers are like even though it's not on the internet, they're using their own version to feed from within the freelancers they're hiring, so they're able to churn that back out. So you're not pulling images off the internet, they're pulling it from the talent that they're hiring. And I know a lot of artists aren't comfortable with that, because it's like, yeah, you're hiring me for this job, but then you're also training a machine to use my style to maybe make mood boards for another job that you don't bring me in for. So yeah, you have to be upfront and speak into the contracts, and be upfront with the employer as well, because that's definitely something that's happening right now. I've seen.
For sure.
Yeah.
You had a follow-up. Yes. It was your question, so I'm going to let you follow it up. So I do know Otoy has been working on a Stable Diffusion node to be able to, when you're creating textures and stuff like that. I don't speak for Otoy, by the way. These are things I hear on the grapevine. It may not come to fruition. But a Stable Diffusion node would be cool, because then you could say, hey, give me, you know, this sort of texture or something like that. And you wouldn't necessarily have to go and create it yourself or buy assets or something like that. I think that would be pretty cool. The modeling stuff, anything roto, if we can get rid of that, fantastic. Yes. Yeah. So there's things that I'm optimistic about. There's also things that scare me a lot, like, you know, AI being fed into algorithms, or like there's someone who fed AI all the episodes of Seinfeld and then just started creating more episodes of Seinfeld. That's going to be an interesting future, because, I mean, if you want a season 3 of Loki, there you go, right? So I don't know. What do y'all think? Are you optimistic or pessimistic about AI? Let's all be optimistic, because then we can end on a positive note.
That's tough. That's tough. Optimist, no. I think it can make some job easier. No, but for example, there's to this day like 4 big projects entirely done by AI. 3 campaign, one for Burger King, another for just like a drink, and I don't remember the other, but it was
the one
big, it was big budget campaign. You know? And the latest stuff with the Marvel introduction.
Yeah, that's what I was going to mention.
That looked very bad, and yes, so for now it looked bad. So it's kind of good news at that moment. So if you want something very weird, go there. Okay, you use AI. You will save a ton of money that could go to artists, but this is industry. You cannot. They will always find a way to spend less money. If basically their job to do that. And my fear for me is more like I want to be able to be happy by solving a problem by myself. This is what is so appealing for me in this job. It's just the problem solving part, not just a bunch of ideas generated by an AI and I just pick one and I say and increment on that idea. I just like the fact that it's my idea and I can develop on that. I use AI, ChatGPT. It's a great assistant. I love that thing. I use Midjourney for references, but only for references, not just for inspiring me entire illustration or movie idea or something. But basically, like every big new creation, human being have tendencies to abuse that to the limit. And then and then go like catastrophic and go back a little bit, but I don't know where we're going to go with that, but we have to be careful, and I'm not sure we can do much thing to protect our work, because if I know something is multi-billion dollar company will always find loophole to take whatever they want when they want it. So we can fight as much as we can. Its evolution is going to be like that. So I don't know. It's a very complicated and heated issue and discussion to have. And I think it will take time to find our place and to work correctly with that without feeling like we're just now a tool for an AI, basically. So yeah, I think it's going to take time.
Well, I think that we like it or we don't like it, but it's there.
Yeah.
And we won't get rid of it now. So we have to be aware of it, to understand it, to use it in a proper way. It's sure it will change the industry. It's a fact, but we have to deal with it. So.
Or be in denial.
La 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 la.
Also, I think the AI cannot exploit mistakes and make it valuable. I mean, as humans, we make mistakes and we can create a style from there or create a new idea. The AI doesn't see that. It's just that's just positive thing for it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I like that. And on that note, okay, one last question.
Basically, she asked what profession will suffer the most from AI.
I think copywriters. Like, I'm serious. The amount that like I'm not a good writer, but ChatGPT is a great writer, or can be. And so the amount that I have used it in the past in order to create copy for myself, like my bio that I send out everywhere, like what I always do is I'll just throw a bunch of mishmash in words on, like, okay, this is my name, this is what I do, and it doesn't look pretty, and I say, hey, make this look pretty. I was like, okay, done. Yes, I can send that out. Or here's a story that I want to write, you know, here's the main things, make it look pretty. You know, I think copywriters are going to get hurt the most.
And I think in the field, well, everything that imply rotoscopy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Everything like, and clean plates. You know, sometimes when you are on a set, you take picture of the environment, and someone have to clean all the images by hand. And so I think all the tedious job will go away. I think so. That's a good thing at some point, but yeah.
Yeah, and the illustrator of a sci-fi books, I think it's gone. It's so it's every sci-fi cover. You can assume it's been generated by Midjourney today, I think.
Cover album also. Yeah, that's done.
Awesome. I want to thank everyone for coming to the DAT show here in Paris. Y'all have been extremely welcoming, and we have absolutely loved this tour of Europe. We have had an absolute blast, and to end it here in Paris has just been such a treat. Thanks everyone for coming out. If you want to check out our podcast, it's mograph.com/podcast. Get all your different podcatchers of choice or whatever, and we'll see you in the next one. Until then, I'm Matt.
And I'm Winbush.
And this was DAT. Thanks, y'all.
Thank you.